Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. We're gonna do an update on Solana in this video. As you can see, the price of Solana has been ranging between 128 and 180. That is not coincidence, that is the previous range before we broke into the targets of $300. And at the moment, we have done something that is bullish in the recent price action on the weekly time frame. As you can see, we lost the support. We went to 95, reclaimed 130, and we managed to go all the way to the other extreme of the range, that is 180. After we cross 180, if we manage to do that, what we are doing is we are breaking the neckline of the double top that sent us in the first place to the downside. So breaking 180 is the green flag that we are looking for, the longer term bullishness on Solana. What's happening at the moment is we are seeing that rejection, at least an initial one on 180, sending us back around the golden pocket. The golden pocket is more or less located between 130 and 140. That should act as a strong support if we want to aim for any bullishness in the upcoming weeks and months. You can see that already twice we have been below 140, entering below the 0.5 line. If we manage to hold this pocket located right there, that is the best chance that we have to break 180 and continue to the upside. Let's drop the time frame to the daily, and we can see in here that we have managed to move all the way from the lows of 94 into 187, putting a double top. That double top, the technical target has already been reached and is probably around $150. After that, we have formed two patterns. Bear with me because one of them is bearish and the other one is bullish. Don't be surprised, we have to have both cases on top of the table to be able to decide in an unbiased way. The pattern that is bullish, let's start with that one. We have a bull flag in here forming after the whole move up. Holding these levels of 140 seems to be quite bullish, particularly because we are forming a double bottom. This double bottom has support at around 143, and the neckline needs to reach around 164. Let's focus on that neckline. So we need to move all the way to 164 really to form the neckline. By that time, we are triggering two patterns at the same time. The first one is the double bottom, and the second one is what you're seeing in here, a breakout from the bull flag. I don't like trading specifically the breakouts. I like to look at the breakouts for confirmation of a position that I have already ideally accumulating at the lows. In this case, the lows are slightly below the support of 143, and it has already happened. So if you are already holding a position on Solana, whether because you were looking for the entries, golden entries that I share in the channel way before around the low $100 that we were calling out all the way as we were coming down, and you're still holding to that position, I think forming these patterns, completing them, has a high chance for another extension to upside. And what better than using a Fibonacci extension from the lows to the highs and to the recent lows to start assessing how high we could get if that plays out. We have first an initial target of extension 1 at $234 and a golden pocket at 292. So before we get too overly bullish in here, let's see where is the liquidity. Particularly paying attention if we can find something on the low end that could make things fail, or if we see anything on the top end. So you're probably thinking, hey, hold on a second, what was the bear case that you were talking about? So let's do that one before so we can look at both liquidity pools and see which one is heavier and more likely to hit first, driving the price as well. Well, the bearish case, the bearish scenario is these head and shoulders that we have already completed. We are about to invalidate it though. Let me draw it for you in case you still cannot see it. So you have this left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder completed, but we went below the neckline and we got both up until here. So is it invalidated? I wouldn't say so. It can still play out if this comes back and breaks down the level of 143 And talking about targets, let's do the full high of the pattern and let's place it like that. That could drive the price to the lows of 104. So let's keep an eye on both scenarios. I will say breaking the neckline and not only doing a liquidity hunt, wiping the 140 and not reclaiming 143 is the signal to say it's very likely that we are going to $100 or around that area once again. If we complete the double bottom around here with the breakout around 164, it's very likely that we are going for the liquidity on the top end. Speaking of which, at the moment I have all the different leverage sizes, but if we focus only on the degens, which are the 25x's or more, you can see that we have an area slightly below the price that is quite heavy. That coincides with all these lows that were pinching below support and then being reclaimed. Those 25x's are cheering now of happiness because they managed to not get liquidated. That is precisely at $140. If we start increasing liquidity, you can see that the 10x's are heavily located over the recent highs above the double top, which is more or less 188 and spans at around 191. Let's include the 5x's and nothing substantially changed except for a new level at 137 and a little bit more pulls shown in the screen. Let's just focus on this area in here, and you can see that we have that level at 121, the 92 that is formed by the liquidity that enter on the order block starting with the bull move to the upside. So I will say let's continue to monitor the resistance on the bull flag in here and the support of 143. That is really important. Breaking out from this level, we are looking into a potential initial move into 234, wiping all this liquidity in here, a breakdown from the neckline of the head and shoulders. Has targets that span all the way to $100, but we really need Bitcoin to break bearish for that. Otherwise, it's more likely that we just wipe the 137 area in here, or worst case, 121. Looking at the news, we had 3 news that are currently bullish released today. 3 of them are new integrations of Solana. The first one is with Bybit, a tier 1 exchange, of course. Bringing its first on-chain product to Solana gives the network a direct flow of centralized exchanges grade liquidity. As soon as people learn about this, there was a move of 8% up. Hong Kong listed meme strategy buys 2.4k Solana, 2.9 million more or less, and that is exposure to HKX to the Solana treasury. DeFi Dev Corps launches a liquidity pool on Orca, which offers to Solana holders new ways to doing yield and supporting sustainable demand. Of course, the top one in here is the one with the integration with Bybit. After all, it's one of the top 3 exchanges. That's why it's qualified as 8 out of 10 bullish. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.